And Kelvin,
yes, sir.
we have this conversation. Obviously, the NBA Finals start tomorrow. It's just been a lot of conversation, just about obviously market size and teams and where they fit in, and you know what I mean. How much interest people going to have? Everybody's saying this is a mismatch. It could be a 4-game sweep. I've heard everything. And talking about OKC and their dominance and what kind of year they had and the postseason that they've had, they had a couple of clunkers, but for the most part, they demolished the opponents, I mean, that's what word I would use. But I think there's a difference here, and this is what we're trying to get at. Is OKC having a great season, but they're not a great team? Like, there are people trying to say this is an all-time great team and whatnot. I just can't get there. I don't care what numbers, how many games they won. Do you know what I mean? The margin of victory. But can I honestly say that they're having a great season, a season for the ages? I told you this before. This could very easily be a one-off. And I'm not saying that, you know what I mean, we're going to erase them and they're going to be bad and not going to make them. I'm not. But I mean, as well as they've played, everything's going right for them. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of that. Things could change next year with SGA and how referees officiate him after this whole year, right? They might go, oh, maybe we're giving them too much. Maybe we're, the ticky-tacks. Maybe. And maybe not get that. Because we saw that with James Harden. Do you remember when they stopped giving him the foul call in the postseason?
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's what he did all year.
He's like, hold on, wait, what?
Right,
now I don't get it.
Right. I've been getting this call all year. And it changed who he was in the postseason. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, well, we don't know what has been wrong with him over the years. It's just
a
major decline. But I totally get what you're saying. I want to let you finish your thought before. Have you good?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think so. Here, it's difficult.
I'm just saying
with
it's a great
team.
season to me.
Right, and I think that's a fair point. I think what's challenging with this team is that when you just look at the numbers, they are an all-time great team. When you look at the point differential between the regular season and postseason, around 12, 13 points. I mean, they've set records with that. When you look at what they've done defensively, they're setting records. They have an MVP who's doing historic things. 3 years scoring 30-plus, shooting 50% from the field. Only, I believe, Jordan has done that. So from a literal analytical standpoint, just straight numbers and facts, they are an all-time great team. But to me, and I've mentioned this before, what makes an all-time great team is identifiers, things, moments, names, and they're not there yet. Some of it's not their fault, meaning the season isn't over. Maybe they have a great finals, and then, we have some epic finals where it ends up being a 6-7 game series battle, and there's great moments. There's a couple game winners, and SGA hits one, and Tyrese Halliburton hits one, and we remember that. But as of right now, I keep mentioning this, them just blowing people out, them just having guys who are really good at their roles and really good players as part of their team, but they're not identifiable, they're not stars, I think that takes away from it. And so what they're having is a historically great season, to your point, but it's nothing memorable or identifiable other than they're really good defensively.
Let me interject real quick.
Yeah.
Say they don't win the championship.
Uh-huh.
No one will say they were an all-time great team.
Absolutely.
And
they
you see
have
what I'm
to
saying?
Close the deal.
You see what I'm saying? And that's with all of the accolades and everything you just mentioned. Nobody would say, oh, that was one of the all-time great teams. I know they didn't win the championship, but they were. It would erase everything.
And I'm going to add to that. The reason why the Warriors don't get that as much as maybe people want to when they won 73 games and obviously what happened in the finals. They didn't win, but they could at least say, we won before this. So you go, all right, that was a great run. And then obviously we would know they were going to win a couple more. But my point is, they had that in the bag that they could at least say, we won a championship prior to this. This OKC team, if they don't win, then you're just saying, oh, well, wow, they're just continuously on their way. They went from 40 games to, I want to say it was 52 games. And then they went to, of course, what we just saw now in 68 games. So they have to completely close this thing, win this thing, in order for, it was 57 games. Let me not shortchange them. So they went from 40 games to then 57 last year, which is a whole lot of games, and then obviously 68 this year. So they're on their way. They need to seal the deal with the championship to say, look at the run, look at the improvement, look what we've done. And they can, say now we're hoisting, the Larry O'Brien. But I do still think time, we like time so we can then say, oh, you were either dynastic or at least you had a very, very good run, right? So if you could, that's why the bad boys are significant, even though they didn't three-peat, even though they didn't, win as many as other people. They only got 2, but they went to finals in 88, 89, 90, and they had, 3 runs in the finals. They won 2, so they had that kind of run where now we talk about them. We know what the Lakers did in the 80s. We know what the Shaq and Kobe Lakers did. We know what the Celtics did in the 80s. We know what the Chicago Bulls did. So they're going to have a sustained run because we like to lump you in that you did this for a sustained amount of time.
Yeah, I just think they're hanging.
We don't like one-offs is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're hanging by a string. And I'm dead serious because they have to close the deal to even have any kind of conversation. People will forget about this team overnight if they don't win.
It'd be a massive disappointment, yeah. But that team that had all that and didn't do nothing?
Yeah, I
had all those records.
I believe that. I think that's how, because people are still like about them, so-so, not Juan so-so, but so-so, and they got to win. Winning is the ultimate, and that's how you cement yourself where people look and say, you know what? They're the best team all year. They got they got playoffs. Okay, they won.
I would argue, Rob, they got to win a lot more, meaning maybe not even championships per se,
right.
But they got to win this year. They got to get to a finals again, maybe next year or the year. Like, it has to be a 4-year run.
I've always
of sustained, like, oh wow, they were really good or they were very, very great.
I always say that what helped the Pistons, the 2004 Pistons, is that they went back to the finals the next year. So people who wanted to say that was
that's
a
what
fluke,
I mean. Yep, that's what I mean.
They just couldn't say it was a fluke because they went back the next year, and if you remember, they beat Shaq and Dwayne Wade. You know what I mean? To get there, it was in Miami in a Game 7. It was incredible.
And not to mention, they went to 6 Eastern Conference Finals in a row.
Yep.
So I mean, but
I'm just saying, getting back there really, really cemented how good that team was.
And I think that's why they're more memorable than this Thunder team will be as of now, because they beat an amazing, Laker team with Shaq and Kobe.
Rob
and,
G always frowns to this day.
I know.
Why are you bringing up old stuff? Go ahead.
Yep, they went to a Game 7
championship in 11,000 years.
That's all right. But it's
First
a Shaq.
all,
I want to get Shaq and Kobe though. That was the one.
Rob G, the Pistons, they're not the Lakers or Celtics, but they've had it for the last 30 years or so. They got what, 5 finals appearances or something like that. I mean, they've done all right for themselves compared to a lot of other organizations. You got to at least give them that. I'm sorry, I know my bad, Rob G. But they got that.
Help yourself. Y'all can't help yourself. It's okay.
They got the win. They went back against the Spurs, went to 7 with them. They had Eastern Conference battles versus those early KG, Paul Pierce, the big 3 Celtics versus LeBron. LeBron gave them that crazy 25 straight moment. My point is they had epic battles. They had a name, Detroit basketball. They had Ben Wallace with the afro and the flames that go up and the gong, and Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey and Rip. So the Thunder are missing a lot of those things. And they got a lot of guys who just don't know. They don't have a signature thing, a signature move. And it's just really good basketball. But in American pop culture, in the lexicon of things, that doesn't just cut it, you being really good at something. You know how many musicians are very talented, are amazing at playing the guitar, the piano, and we go, yeah, they're really good. Oh yeah. You know how many people have number 1 records, big number 1 records that you go, if I said their name, you'd be like, whoa,
well,
yeah.
but that could be this team with the one-offs, and I'll give you the perfect example. We just talked about it. One-hit wonders in music, where somehow, somewhere, you got the right song, right? You put it together, you put all your energy. A lot of people do that, in that's why it's the consistency. It's being able to do it more than once. That's when people really take notice and go, okay, they got something,
Yep.
Because a lot of people, for one shot or one try can win. The stars can align, and you can win once. Tom Izzo won a national championship 25 years ago.
Rob, you did so good. You went about 2 months without
What?
bringing that up. Now Tom Izzo, I'm telling you, man, he gonna swing on you when he see you. He gonna swing.
What? I'm just
he gonna
saying.
He gonna stand on the apple box and swing on you. My last point with this, we did talk about this last week, I believe it was. I do believe they have the makings to be what we're talking about. In that, I told you they went from 40 wins to 57, 68 now. They're in the finals. They have the MVP. Jalen Williams is growing before our eyes. Chet,
I think the West is
star
tough,
quality.
man.
Oh, it is. But on
I'm
paper, all the picks they have, all the young talent they have coming up who just are waiting to get even more playing time, they have the makings to have that potential to be a team that we go, shoot, 10 years from now, 20 years. Remember that OKC team? But they got to get a name too, Rob. What we going to call them? They ain't the Heatles. They ain't the Bad Boys. They ain't the Showtime Lakers. They ain't the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Like, what we going to call them?
I don't know. Good question. We'll see about that.